Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the xDuoo XA-02, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Shenzhen Audio for providing the xDuoo XA-02 for a review. Do greatly appreciate it. Shenzhen Audio, you rock. Alright, so the xDuoo XA-02, this will set you back $200 from your bank account. It is a DAC amp combo, and it is compliant with Windows, Linux, Mac OS, iOS, and Android. The XA-02 is capable of doing PCM, DSD, and MQA, and it has USB, coax, optical, and Bluetooth inputs. Bluetooth formats are SBC, AAC, aptX, aptX LL, and aptX HD, and LDAC. It also has a 6.35 millimeter single-ended output, which is capable of doing upwards of 910 milliwatts at 32 ohms. And then the 4.4 balanced output is capable of doing 2000 milliwatts at 32 ohms. And now also has RCA aux outs, which are 2.6 VRMS. The crosstalk is 71 dB on the single-ended, and SNR is 119 dB on single-ended. THD and N 0.002%. On balanced, the crosstalk is 118 dB, SNR is 121 dB, and THD and N is 0.004%. The auxiliary output crosstalk is 118 dB, SNR 121 dB, and THD and N is 0.0004%. The impedance is suitable for IEMs and also for headphones. Size-wise, it's extremely small. It weighs roughly about 1.9 pounds or about 0.9 kilograms. As you can see, it's rather small, fits in two hands. For comparison, it is a little bit bigger than the Fiio K11 and K11 R2R, but not by much. It is significantly heavier than those two, though. The xDuoo is very nicely laid out. On the front here, you have your volume knob multifunction button, and then you have two menu buttons, your 1.3-inch OLED screen, your 4.4 and quarter-inch outputs, and then on the back side, you have your power switch, your AC input, and then you have two USB-C inputs, one for data transport and one for firmware updates. You have the ability to connect a Bluetooth antenna, which is right here. And then you also have your optical input, coax input, and your RCA outputs. Very simple to use. Let's plug it in and show you what it looks like. Alright, so here's what it looks like up close. And let's get the power cable plugged in. xDuoo does include a power cable. You just hit the little power switch and it'll start booting itself up. Now it will show that it's unlinked because it's trying to connect with USB and there's not a USB plugged in. Once you plug it in and the music starts flowing, that will change and start showing the bit rates. xDuoo also does include a very simple user manual, and you can download one online. So you have your volume knob. As you can see here, when you spin it, it digitalizes what the volume is, and also the color around the volume knob changes and gets more intense. It goes from white to a reddish hue. On the menu here, you have two buttons. So if you press the top one, you have a menu that will select. The top one will change your filters, and just to do that, you just press the volume knob and it'll cycle through. There are 8 different ones. I really didn't notice a big significant difference in the filters. It defaults to number 5, and that's kind of the one that I stuck with the most. I really didn't notice a difference. The next one down here is your gain, and just pressing in on the volume knob will change it from low to high gain. And then down at the bottom, there's a bass boost. Clicking it on and off, and that does make a significant difference. I found that the bass boost added in a lot more body to the overall sound, and also definitely added in some impact, punch, and slam to the bass. It could, at times with headphones that are already somewhat on the bassy side, bloat it up and muddy it up a little bit. So do be careful. You can use it with discretion. But I found that headphones that were a little bit more on the neutral side, or maybe were a little bit light in body, or didn't have quite the bass impact that you were looking for, it definitely helped with that type of presentation. The bass definitely added in, and it added in body and just note weight overall. I really did enjoy the bass and used it quite a bit. It's very well controlled. And then down here you have your Bluetooth pairing button. You just press and hold it and it'll go into Bluetooth mode if you have the antenna plugged in. So how does the xDuoo XA-02 sound? Before we talk about the sound, I did forget to mention one thing. So to change your inputs, you select the volume knob and you just push it in, and it'll change through to your various inputs. And also the outputs all run simultaneously. So the RCA outs on the back run at the same volume as the headphones. So if you are pushing out to a preamp or a speaker amp, like I used the xDuoo with the Fosse Audio V3 monos, and I had the volume fairly high, the headphones, if you plug them in, is going to be at that same level, and you could damage your headphones. So do be aware of that you have to lower your volume and then plug your headphones in. And you may want to turn off your preamp if it's currently playing with speakers. So do be aware of that. They all run at the same time. There is no switching to go through and choose your output. To turn it off, just hit the power switch. Okay, so how does the xDuoo XA-02 sound? I found that the xDuoo XA-02 has a very clean and clear presentation. That Sabre 9039 Q2M really comes through and gives you a very neutral, balanced, and cohesive presentation. It extends nicely into the bass and sub-bass regions, and extends very nicely into the uppers. And there is just a neutrality throughout. There's very nice tone and timbre. Everything sounds very natural and accurate. And along with that, you get a nice emphasis in the bass, especially when you use the bass boost. There's nice impact and slam. When you're not using the bass boost, it is more of a neutral and analytical presentation with very good spacing and a very specific, refined, and defined presentation of the details within the bass. Adding in the bass boost button will add in a little bit more impact and slam and punch, and you'll get a little bit more of a fun factor, even though it still has that neutrality side to it. Moving into the mids are very neutral. They have nice clarity, and they're very distinct and very direct sounding. They're not forthright, they're not shouty, they're not being forceful, but at the same time they make an impact. And they're very, very direct in their presentation. They have nice natural tone and timbre, and they also have very good details and resolution. Adding in that bass boost, again, will add in a little bit of body and note weight and kind of change it to be more of a lush sound signature. Very enjoyable, and still having neutrality to it, but it's not as open and as defined and refined and focused as it is when you're not using the bass boost. Going into the treble extends really nicely into the uppers. There's good air and space, nice edge, nice crispness, and a little bit of bitiness to it. And overall, it just really picks apart the treble. If you're a treble lover, it does a really good job of portraying how treble should sound with its edges and its biteness and being on the verge, but yet not being fatiguing. The treble has very good air and space, very natural tone and timbre, and good details and resolution. Adding in the bass boost will add just a little bit of note weight and a little bit of warmth to the overall presentation. The soundstage of the xDuoo XA-02 is nice and wide. It does a really good job of portraying differences in venues, and it also has really good depth. Adding in the bass boost will increase that and give you a little bit more depth, but also kind of shrinks the stage just a little bit and makes it sound a little bit more full and immersive, not quite as wide. Going into the imaging tracks really well from side to side, and it's very accurate. You can place things very well and follow things along. And then the detail retrieval and resolution of the XA-02 is also very good. I was rather impressed at how much information. I never was lacking any information, and I had moments of, oh wow, I haven't heard that. Normally don't hear that in about a $200 DAC amp. And then tone and timbre. Tone and timbre is very, very good. I was rather impressed at how natural it sounds, and then adding in the bass boost just enhances it and gives a little bit more body and note weight and fullness depending on what gear you're using. So overall, I find that the xDuoo XA-02 is a very, very good little DAC and amp. I truly do enjoy it. The comparison to the Fiio K11 and K11 R2R are very, very close. The K11 and K11 R2R offer a lot more options. You get filters that actually do make a somewhat of a difference, and you have the ability to have R2R or not. You have also other options like LED, RGBs, and other inputs and outputs, and all kinds of other things. The Fiio K11 is more fully stocked. But when it comes to the sound signature, I actually prefer the xDuoo XA-02 slightly better. I find it to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more detailed, a little bit better resolving, and also I find it to be slightly more natural and accurate sounding. And I like the ability to be able to add in bass if I want or not. And overall, I think the XA-02 is a slightly better performer when it comes to sonic performance. Now, if you want it to get all the extras, the Fiio is very compatible, and I do find that I enjoy the Fiio K11 quite a bit, and it's still very neutral and a very natural sound, but I just find that the XA-02 does it slightly better. Plus, 2,000 milliwatts compared to a little bit less on the Fiio. The xDuoo is able to power a few more headphones, some of those pesky planars and harder to drive dynamics. The xDuoo XA-02 does it slightly better. I find that it works both with IEMs and headphones, just like the Fiio, and I had no problems with anything hissing or distorting or popping or anything of that sort with the xDuoo. And then those pesky headphones, I found it was able to drive them a little bit easier than the Fiio. So, the xDuoo XA-02. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And it is coming in at $200, an exceptional value. And this would make a lot of people happy, in my opinion. I think that this is a very good DAC amp that can do everything and have a very neutral and natural presentation. And then you can add in the fun factor if you want by adding in the boost of bass. So I find that the xDuoo XA-02 is an exceptional value and competes with the Fiio K11, depends on what you're looking for when it comes to presentation and all the extras. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links and notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information on there regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, and support channel. Speaking of supporting channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon, YouTube, memberships, and also one-time gifts. Thank you very much for all that you give to the channel. It is much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting channel, you can do it through various ways. One-time gifts through YouTube, and also PayPal and Venmo. And then you can do monthly subscriptions through Patreon and YouTube memberships. With Patreon and YouTube memberships, you do get a little extra benefits through my Discord server. You can connect with me directly. You can contact me. We can discuss pretty much anything and everything. And also you get access to videos early and some other benefits. So if you're interested in joining my Discord, there's a link down below. And also if you're interested in supporting the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. There's all kinds of other links down below regarding gear recommendations, music recommendations, and all sorts of things. So check out the links down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music and that honesty is the best policy.